ERi-TV English news broadcast, dear viewers. I'm your reporter Bersabet Takhlem, and following are the major headlines for today. President Isaias and President Xi Jinping hold talks in Beijing. The Independence Cup is touring Gashbarka region. South Africa and Russia agree to boost military ties. And protests across Tokyo due to water contamination. On your local reports, President Isaias and his host President Xi Jinping held extensive talks yesterday evening in Beijing on enhancement of strategic bilateral ties and regional matters. President Isaias expressed his profound gratitude to President Xi Jinping for the kind invitation extended to him and his delegation. President Isaias further recalled his first visit and stay in China in 1967. The president stated that those momentous times had left extraordinary experience on him and his comrades. President Isaias added that even though Eritrea and China established former diplomatic ties in 1993, their practical ties of friendship and cooperation had begun in earnest before 60 years. In this context, President Isaias expressed appreciation for the support that the People's Republic of China had extended to the struggle of the Eritrean people for independence, indicating that China, in the space of 3/4 of a century, has registered exponential progress to emerge as the first economic power. President Isaias applauded the historical contribution that the People's Republic of China has made to humanity in the past 75 years. These realities have instilled high hopes and aspirations in developing countries on the PRC's higher contribution in the promotion of global stability and development. In this connection, President Isaias underlined that, notwithstanding the challenges, the world is increasingly extricating itself from the domination of big powers and embarking on a new international order whose hallmarks are prevalence of justice and mutual respect between peoples and nations. President Isaias elaborated on Eritrea's broad multi-sectorial development programs for the short, medium, and long terms. President Xi Jinping, on his part, stated that China views its bilateral ties with Eritrea from a strategic and long-term perspective and stressed that China is a reliable friend of Eritrea. President Xi further noted that against the backdrop of the current international situation, which is characterized by instability and uncertainty, a sound China-Eritrea relationship not only serves the common and long-term interests of the two countries, but is also of great significance to regional peace and international fairness and justice. President Xi also applauded Eritrea's firm adherence to an independent foreign policy. On bilateral economic cooperation, President Xi Jinping also expressed readiness of Chinese enterprises to invest and do business in various sectors, including construction, telecommunications, agriculture, mining, and fisheries. President Isaias also met and held talks with Prime Minister Li Qiang. At the meeting, Prime Minister Qiang congratulated President Isaias in connection with the 30th anniversary of the establishment of the formal diplomatic relations between China and Eritrea. Prime Minister Qiang stated that bilateral ties between the two countries have transcended normative diplomatic ties to constitute strategic relationship and tangible cooperation. President Isaias, for his part, underlined that Eritrea-China ties go back to almost 60 years and expressed profound gratitude to the Communist Party of China for extending moral and material support to the struggle of the Eritrean people for independence. The two sides also discussed a broad range of areas for investment and development cooperation, including in the sectors of manufacturing, coastal development, blue economy, digital economy, mining, education, health, and human capacity development. In continuation of its journey in the Gashbarka region, the Independence Cup toured the subzones of Golej, Tesene, Fortosawa, Haikota, Gonye, Barentu, Mogolo, Aordet, and Mensura. Upon arrival at the historical sites, the Independence Cup was awarded a warm welcome by the residents and members of the Defense Forces, featuring cultural and artistic performances as well as military parades. The Independence Cup is expected to tour the subzones of Diga and Karkabet and is expected to be handed over to the Ansaba region tomorrow, 17 May, in a ceremony that will be organized through the subzone of Sel'a. The Independence Cup commenced its journey in the Gashbarka region on 12 May from Molki Semi-Urban Center, accompanied by Ambassador Mahmoud Ali Huri, governor of the region, and army commanders of Western Command. On your last local report, Cultural and Artistic Week has been organized in Haggas subzone from 10 to 12 May in connection with the 32nd anniversary of Independence Day. The objective of the Cultural and Arts Week, that was organized under the theme Heroic Feat Anchored on Cohesive Ranks, was to enable the youth identify their talents and capacity and enable them to further develop them. Pointing out that awareness and organization are vital to develop cultural and artistic capacities of the youth, Mr. Habte Obagergis, secretary of the PFDJ in the subzone, commended those that contributed for the successful implementation of the program. Indicating that Cultural and Sports Week had been organized in all the subzones of the Ansaba region, Mr. Anur Humed, head of the Political and Organizational Affairs of the National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students branch in the region, said that the program has significant contribution in enabling the youth understand their history and culture as well as the noble societal values. At the event, awards have been handed over to winners of various competitions. Dear viewers, do stay with us for the international reports after the short break. Welcome back. Senior military officers from South Africa and Russia have agreed to boost cooperation and increase the combat readiness of their armies in talks held in Moscow, Russia's defense ministry has been quoted as saying by the state-owned TASS news agency. The high-level talks came days after the U.S. ambassador to Pretoria, Ruben Brigetti, accused South Africa of supplying arms and ammunition to Russia, despite its professed neutrality in the Ukraine war. The meeting between the two military commanders yielded agreements on the further expansion of cooperation between the land forces in various areas, the ministry is quoted as saying. Last week, South Africa found itself at the center of a diplomatic storm with the U.S. after Mr. Brigetti said he was confident that arms and ammunition were loaded on a Russian ship at a naval base in Cape Town in December. South Africa said it had no record of an arms sale, but President Cyril Ramaphosa has ordered an inquiry to investigate these allegations. On your final report, anti-nuclear activists in Japan scheduled to hold protesters across Tokyo today, May 16, against a scheduled release of more than 1 million tons of contaminated water into the sea from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant, which was crippled by an earthquake and tsunami in 2011. In January, the Japanese government gave an estimation for when the radioactive water will be released into the sea, saying it could happen sometime around this spring or summer. When the plan was first announced in 2020, it drew immediate opposition from Japan's neighbors, such as South Korea, China, and Taiwan. The water was mainly used to cool reactors in the aftermath of the disaster. It is enough to fill about 500 Olympic-sized swimming pools and is being stored in huge tanks at the plant. Officials say the tanks have to be removed for construction. The water is treated, filtered, and diluted, and Tokyo Electric Power Company, which runs the crippled nuclear power station, and the government say it is safe. However, it contains traces of tritium. That was all with your domestic and international reports, dear viewers, and now a quick recap of the major headlines. President Isaias Afwerki and President Xi Jinping hold talks in Beijing. The Independence Cup is touring Gashbarka region. South Africa and Russia agree to boost military ties. And protesters across Tokyo due to water contamination. Dear viewers, that was it for today. Thanks for watching.